It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're in the middle of May 1998, May 15th to be exact, and we got 6 movies to look at today, so let's go ahead and just jump on into it, and we'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is Robert Redford's The Horse Whisperer. Riveting. Anyway, not really much there to show you. It's a little teaser trailer, and not a very engaging teaser trailer. I mean, it's just a guy is riding a horse through a thunderstorm, and then the horse whisperer. That's it. Like that teaser really doesn't do anything to sell the movie. But you basically have a story here where Redford plays the title role of the Horse Whisperer. He's a talented trainer with a remarkable gift for understanding horses, who's hired to help an injured teenager, Scarlett Johansson, in one of her first major leading roles in a movie, and her horse back to health following a tragic accident. And as bad as that teaser trailer is, and as how Oscar baity this movie really is, because it definitely does try to tug at your heartstrings a little bit too much, not in the good kind of way, I will say that the movie is actually pretty decent. It's not a great movie per se. It certainly isn't one of the best movies that released this year in '98. Not this year, referring to 1998, but I will say that it is a passable movie. It has some good writers behind it. Eric Roth and Richard LaGravenese. Great cast. Robert Redford, Kristen Scott Thomas, Sam Neill, Diane Weiss, Johansson, Chris Cooper. Some good cinematography overall. It is a very good, solid film. It does have those great landscape shots that the cinematographer Robert Richardson handles very well here. And you do get attached to these characters. I mean, it is a legitimately good movie. It is not a great film overall, but considering how the trailers come off as this schlocky, Oscar baitish type of film, I was expecting a lot worse, but luckily, it does not go into those pathways whatsoever. It does leave a good, lasting impact on you once you see the film. It is a decent film. I'd say definitely check it out. Don't go in there expecting one of Robert Redford's best films, but you'll get something a whole lot better than I think you would probably expect from the trailers alone. So, certainly beats the crap out of the next movie we have here, because we've got another Disney knockoff for you, and it's from the company. It's from the company that was for the longest time the biggest competitor of Disney, but now not so much. Let's talk about Quest for Camelot.
Journey back to a land filled with mystery and magic, a time of bravery and adventure. Next summer, Warner Brothers Family Entertainment presents Quest for Camelot.
Attack! It's taken Excalibur! Where is the soul?
In a place of untold danger. We're not going in here, are we?
The story of a girl who dreams of becoming a knight.
Fly on my father's wings to places I have never been.
A brave hero who will join her.
Excalibur is missing.
We're going after it.
A magical dragon with 2 points of view.
I'm Devon, and this growth on my neck is Cornwall.
Oh, what I could be if there was only me. Oh, what I'd do if I didn't have you.
And the evil knight.
You are going to lead me to Excalibur.
Who will stop at nothing to destroy all that is good and just.
Next stop, Camelot!
Featuring songs by Academy Award winner Carol Bayer Sager and Grammy winner David Foster. Share the adventure
Excalibur only belongs in the hands of Arthur.
of the noblest legend of all time.
Face them. Reaching for the sky, I stand alone.
Mayday! Mayday! Turbulence!
Camelot.
Quest for Camelot.
When we get to Camelot, we'll be kissed by the world's most beautiful women. Right. We'll have to beat them off with a stick.
Yeah, as much as Anastasia was a Disney knockoff and directly straight up tells you it's a Disney knockoff, it was still a good Disney knockoff. This is an example of a bad Disney knockoff. I mean, and I'm not even showing you the full trailer that was in theaters, because let me tell you something, that trailer in theaters is worse. I can't show it on here for copyright reasons, obviously, but mostly because it has the songs in there. But I'll tell you that trailer, that screams out Disney knockoff. Like, it's trying to be so hard to be Disney. Like, it's amazing that Warner Brothers put so much effort into promoting this and not do anything with Cat Still Dance or The Iron Giant, and instead put all their marketing towards this movie here. It's no wonder why you would think why the studio did not work as well as they wanted to. I mean, this is a film that was actually the first feature film for Warner Brothers animation department in the feature film industry. It was going to have under this new regime that they had, Bill Croyer, who directed Ferngully, was going to direct it. And then, as the film went into production, they delayed it because they had animators come in to help finish Space Jam, which supposedly Corey Coleman, who did some work on Space Jam, may have done some work on this. Maybe not. I don't know. There's conflicting stories about that. If you listen to the old Spill reviews, especially for Underdog, because the director of Underdog directed this movie, Frederick Duchow. But you've seen this story done before, much better in Disney movies. It's basically this obvious Belle look-alike. I mean, seriously, she's designed like Belle, and she wants to become a knight, and she has to go find the Sword of Excalibur because it's been stolen by this villain played by Gary Oldman, and she comes across these various characters: a blind guy played by Carrie Elways, the blind love interest, a two-headed dragon played by Eric Idle and Don Rickles, because we're just hitting all the bullseyes here. Here's some more. In fact, here's some more comic side characters. Here's another character played by Jaleel White. The Griffin in this movie is played by Bronson Pinchot from Perfect Strangers. Why? No reason. No rhyme or reason. Great cast. Jessalyn Gilsick. You've seen her on Heroes and Glee. Carrie Elways, Gary Oldman, Eric Idle, Don Rickles, Jaleel White, Jane Seymour, Pierce Brosnan, Gabriel Byrne, John Gielgud. I mean, some great music by Brian White, Celine Dion, Steve Perry. I mean, if there's one thing I could say about this movie, the soundtrack is shockingly good. Like, the song "The Prayer" is from this movie. Now, I had no idea that came from this movie, and that song "Reaching for the Sky, I Stand Alone" surprisingly is not that bad. I mean, it seems like the effort was put in with the music rather than the actual movie here, but this was a major misfire on so many levels. Like, the movie would have been fine if you had a good story, and you really do not like any of these characters. Like, the main character of the movie, Kaylee, is kind of like the equivalent of the Terran from the Black Cauldron, except Terran from the Black Cauldron was at least trying to do something. Here, she's basically a Belle knockoff, and not a really good Belle knockoff. Carrie Elways, his character's backstory doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like, there were no other blind people back there. He's the only one that's blind, and so because he's an outcast. Like, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And of course, Eric Idle and Don Rickles, they're playing the genie comic relief character, Disney comic relief character, and they get pretty annoying really fast. No matter what you can say about the talents of these two guys, they get pretty annoying really damn quickly. And Gary Oldman's villain is not an intriguing villain whatsoever. Like, not at all. And this movie, just like, nothing is ever explained. Yeah, it takes place in an enchanted forest. It's magical. I get that, but you have to be much smarter than this. Like, you can't pan yourself down to, basically what I'm trying to tell you is that you can't dumb it down this much is because it's strictly for kids. Like, the Disney movies that came in the 1990s were clearly made for kids, but they were universal appealing films. It didn't just appeal to the kids, it appealed to the adults as well, like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. I mean, these movies still hold up over well in time from kids who grew up then, as adults now can watch these movies and realize that, I mean, they hold up well over time. This does not, and this film had so many production troubles, creative differences, the story was heavily retooled, prominent departures in the animation and management staff. So the movie that was supposed to be the thing that was supposed to launch Warner Brothers' feature animation division just was not, and it completely failed on so many levels. Like, it bombed hard at the box office, and you know, it doesn't help when your movie is trying to market itself by using characters from the Looney Tunes to sell your movie. I'm not even kidding. They actually used characters from the Looney Tunes to promote this movie. I wish I was kidding, but I am not. And I have the proof right here.
On May 15th, Warner Brothers Family Entertainment is proud to present Quest for Camelot. Here is what America's toughest critics are saying.
Loaded with talent. Just loved it.
They love the adventure, the fun, and the music.
That really is terrific.
See it twice.
I did.
Quest for Camelot.
They loved it.
Rated G. Starts Friday, May 15th at a theater near you.
Yeah. That actually happened. And you could say anything you want about the really terrible Looney Tunes projects that the studio has done, where they've kind of gone against everything that made the Looney Tunes so special, but to me, that is the absolute worst one. Like, it doesn't even, like, they don't even bother to actually, they just took clips from older cartoons, put new voices on there to try to sell the movie, and, like, that to me is the absolute worst. It's the absolute worst one thing I've ever seen with the Looney Tunes attached to it. And trust me, that's saying a lot compared to everything that they've done, these characters have been used for. But yeah, I digress. This movie is just terrible. It's a really bad movie. Just, it fails on so many levels, and it was yet another black hole for the Warner Brothers feature animation division. And it is luckily the next movie turned out to be a great film. Unfortunately, nobody went to go see it. So we'll eventually get to that one when we get to 99. But that's Quest for Camelot. Let's turn the page a little bit here. Let's go to a much better movie that came out this weekend. Probably the best movie overall that came out on this weekend, and that is Warren Beatty's Bulworth.
By March 1996, Bob Dole and President Clinton had locked up their party's presidential nominations. And while California approached its primary with little fanfare or attention, Democratic Senator J. Billington Bulworth embarked upon the final weekend of his re-election campaign.
You promised us federal funding to rebuild our community. What happened?
Well, you haven't really contributed any money to my campaign, have you?
Are you saying that the Democratic Party don't care about the African American community?
Isn't that obvious? I mean, if you don't put down that malt liquor and chicken wings and get behind somebody other than a running back who stabs his wife, you're never going to get rid of somebody like me. That was really good. Yo to you.
Later.
I was hoping for sooner.
Senator, what is this new strategy? Just tell me a little bit.
Senator Bulworth, excuse me, Senator, do you think it's wise to seek the support of the entertainment industry when you have such low opinion of our product?
My guys are not stupid. They always put the big Jews on my schedule. Excuse me? Murphy, put something bad about Farrakhan in here for you. Let me look. Miss, you be really honest with me and don't spare my feelings. Do you have any more of the little crispy crab cakes?
I mean, what more can you say about it? I mean, that trailer, I think, does a good job of telling you what you're in for. And God, do I love this movie. Warren Beatty plays Senator J. Bulworth. He's facing speculation-induced financial ruin, so he puts out a contract on his own life in order to collect a large new insurance policy for his family. And living each moment on borrowed time, he suddenly begins spouting raw, unfiltered, and sometimes offensive in words, but satirical in spirit, thoughts to shock audiences and handlers in the speech of hip-hop music and culture. And his newfound uninhibitedness and new relationship with this woman named Nina, played by Halle Berry, carry him on a journey of political and spiritual renewal. And I mean, this is a film that could have easily fallen apart so quickly from the get-go, but Warren Beatty, this is probably my favorite movie he's ever done. And I love Dick Tracy, I love Reds, I love Heaven Can Wait. I think the worst movie he's ever directed was his last film, and that was Rules Don't Apply, and that came out almost 20 years after this movie. And that movie just didn't work because it was too safe for its own good. This is a movie that I love that it goes for every single thing that it can do to try to get a good laugh out of you, and it just works. Like I said, this thing could have easily fallen apart quickly, but man, Warren Beatty just sells this movie and sells his performance. He is so damn funny in this movie. He is just working this performance so well. Him and Halle Berry are just excellent together. Oliver Platt is very good in here. So is Don Cheadle, Paul Sorvino, Jack Warden. Christine Baranski's also in here playing Bulworth's wife. I mean, it's a movie that goes for it and just leaves you, and just leaves such a hilarious comedy in the process. And it's interesting because there were some notable names who did rewrites on this. James Toback was one of the rewriters. Aaron Sorkin was a rewriter on this film. But man, this movie was so damn funny. I mean, this is so damn funny. And it's very topical even today. Like, you can make it... This is a film that was probably way too ahead of its time, but man, when you look at how the world has changed in the 25 years since this movie's come out, like, this movie was very much ahead of its time, and it was just so brilliantly funny. Like, it's a really damn good movie. Maybe one of the best political comedies of all time. I can't tell you enough. Definitely seek Bulworth out because it is so funny. It is so well done. It's very satirical. It does everything a good political satirical comedy should do. And it's just absolutely fantastic, man. I love that Warren Beatty went for it and created a very damn good movie out of it. I mean, it's an incredible film. I can't recommend it enough. Go check it out. You will not be disappointed by it by any means necessary if you go into it on the right note. So that's a good comedy that came out this weekend. Now here's a terrible comedy. Plump Fiction.
Does it seem familiar to anybody?
It's not Pulp Fiction. It's not Reservoir Dogs. It's not Natural Born Killers.
You got that?
It's Plump Fiction.
Believe me, I'm doing yourself a favor by turning it off right there because it only gets worse from there. I mean, this... I swear, I thought Jason Freeberg and Aaron Seltzer did this movie but under the pseudonym of Bob Coher, but, no, this is a real person that did this. This is a real guy that eventually later went on to become a director of television. Did stuff like the Anger Management Show with Charlie Sheen and a whole number of different Disney Channel comedies, and, yeah, that probably makes sense for a film like this. Basically, you have a spoof of mid-1990s films, violent, convoluted films, more specifically Pulp Fiction, the works of Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs, Natural Born Killers. They also tackle stuff like Woody Allen, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Clerks, The Crying Game, Forrest Gump, The Monkey, Spike Lee, Nell, Oliver Stone, Christopher Walken, Waterworld, Reality Bites, just... Like, you couldn't tell me that this was if I showed this movie, if this movie was made in 2006, you would have honestly thought it was another Freeberg and Seltzer movie. It is that type of a movie that has that kind of bad comedy to it. I mean, it's a really bad comedy. It's not funny. It's not creative. It's not engaging. It's just, here's a list of things that happen around this time period and things that are related from the last 5 years. Like, let's make a comedy out of it. But, like, a movie like Spy Hard was not a great movie either, and that had the Friedberg and Seltzer writing that, but Spy Hard was at least trying. I mean, it has Leslie Nielsen, who will put any effort into anything that he's in, even a smooth comedy like that. It wasn't a great movie overall, but at least he was trying in that film. They're not trying in this film. Like, there is nothing funny about this. You're lucky I stopped at that right there, because the trailer only gets stupider and stupider from there. Like, the type of jokes that you expect that are in here. There's a wannabe Quentin Tarantino caricature in here that's not funny or not creative, and not creative in any means necessary. Wastes too many good talents in here. Like, you have Pam Adlon, Sandra Bernhard, Julie Brown, Colleen Camp, Dan Castellaneta, Jennifer Coolidge, Robert Costanzo, Tommy Davidson, Paul Danello, Tim Kaczynski, Jennifer Rubin, Jimmy Walker's in here, Don LaFontaine. They actually got the trailer guy to do this. That's too good of a cast to be wasting on a film like this. This is a mess. This is a mess on so many levels. It's just not a good film whatsoever. I really don't like this movie. It makes Freeberg and Seltzer. Now, I can't even say that because Jason Freeberg and Aaron Seltzer still made more spook movies than this, but it's close to being up there. I mean, this is close to being on that same level, honestly. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Here's Clockwatchers next.
Making a living.
You think I'm your little office thief. Oh, you got me. You fine He got me.
by killing time. Clockwatchers.
So you have Parker Posey, Toni Collette, Lisa Kudrow, and Alana Ubach as temporary office staffers in an office complex, and the four of them become misfit friends in an office environment when they're ignored and mistrusted by their coworkers. That's really all I know about this movie. I've never seen it before, but it's got good reviews to it, and it has a great cast involved. I mean, those four ladies alone are what make it more than worth at least checking out to see if it's any good. But other than that, though, I don't really know too much about it, honestly. I can't really say if it's any good or not. So that's a quick one on that one. I do kind of want to check it out just on that cast alone, though. So anyway, quick one on that one. On to the last one here. We can also be quick on this one, too. Lawn Dogs. So quick that I'm just going to show you the title and just move on, because I have not seen this movie. You have this precocious young girl played by Misha Barton, pre-OC, from a gated community who befriends a landscape worker played by Sam Rockwell. And it explores the societal repercussions of their friendship. And you also have Christopher McDonald, Kathleen Quinlan. It's written by Naomi Wallace, and it was actually one of the last films by the Rank organization, and directed by John Dogan. And it's using the folk tale of Baba Yaga as a prominent plot device. And although it's filmed in Louisville and Danville, Kentucky, it's a British film produced by Duncan Kenworthy. It's got some pretty positive reviews. It won numerous film awards at film festivals in Europe, so again, might be something that could be good, but like I said, I don't really know too much about it. I haven't seen the film, so like I said, I don't really know for certain anything about the movie in particular. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not, but again, I don't really know for sure. So with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and next time we'll head into Memorial Day weekend with the most anticipated movie of the year, which eventually would end up disappointing pretty much everybody who saw it, Roland Emmerich's Godzilla. We also have Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro and Terry Gilliam's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And we also have The Opposite of Sex with Christina Ricci and a film by Don Roos. So we'll look at those three films next time around. But until then, thank you very much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, and until then, as always, take care.